It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
All right, some NBA basketball for you. We have the Houston Rockets going up against the Washington Wizards. Looking at the Wizards, both players and coaches have talked about the importance of a fast start. They don't want to play catch-up in the standings. Tonight, they'll try to overcome that first hurdle in achieving their goals for this year. And you love the build-up to a new season. Lots of anticipation. Shaq, what are you looking for?
There were some VIMs this offseason.
The Rockets on their way to the locker room earlier on, looking to deliver the gift of a big win to the home and with Creek. Well, no doubt, David, he is one of the best. Thank you. So a look at the starters for the Wizards. Hachimura and Bryant are in the middle. Thomas and Beal teaming up in the backcourt. And it's Brown in at the small forward position. And for the Rockets, Westbrook and Harden, the dynamite pair. They're the backcourt. Tucker and Capella are up front. And it's House in at the 3, the small forward. Tries again. Here's Capella. And Tucker kicks to Harden. Out left to the wing. Westbrook with a wide open look. Another miss by Westbrook.
You know, that's a quick 0 for 4 now. At what point do you call a timeout and reset?
Well, last season we got a glimpse of what a Bradley Beal team looks like as he led the way for the Wizards after Wall went down.
And really, Beal took it upon himself to kind of keep this team moving forward. And it was his best season to date. Career highs in scoring and also was creating more for his teammates in Wall's absence.
Harden outside. Over Beal. Harden can't hit.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
Thomas passes to Beal. On the wing, Brown. 5 to shoot. Fires from deep. Rebounded by Capella. The Rockets have gone 0-5 here to start the game. Start for them. Near the three-point line, it's Westbrook, and he gets it to go from the corner.
Boy, at the offensive end, his game is so impressive. I mean, he's a threat every time up the floor.
Bryant dishes to Thomas. And Capella sends it back.
Over a 7'4" wingspan for Clint Capella. That's long, folks, and makes him an intimidating shot blocker.
Here's Hachimura, guarded by Tucker. 6 to shoot. Here's Brown.
Boy, not the kind of start they wanted. Only 1 for 4 so far.
Still looking for his first make after that miss. He's 0 for 2. That gives them the lead.
And it's the fearlessness of Westbrook. It's really refreshing to watch. When he's deep inside, he just goes right at you.
Outside Thomas. They double team Beal. Pass to Hachimura. He kicks it to Bryant. Shoots over Capella, and a nice shot by Bryant.
And the instincts there from Hachimura. Notice the overcommitment by the defense and then makes the right pass.
Now Westbrook. He's coming off a 22-point game against the Clippers.
Boy, he was piling up those assists in that one. I mean, every pass seemed to be on time and on target.
Outside Bryant. Outside Thomas. Good work defensively by Capella.
Boy, that defense smothered him in there. Love the intensity.
And the jam by Harden.
Ferociousness from Harden, looking like he wants to tear the rim off.
Last outing for Houston, it was a loss to the Clippers in Los Angeles. Westbrook against Thomas. Here's Beal. Good work defensively by Harden. Rockets have gotten just 3 of their first 9 shots to go down in this game. And the jam by Harden.
Well, I like the understated focus that Harden brings to the table. Despite getting knocked around, his concentration allows him to play through the bumps.
And he'll be shooting his first free throw of the game here. Harden no good on the free throw.
You know, no matter how you feel about James Harden, you've got to respect his love for the game. I mean, he absolutely lives and breathes basketball, and that passion has driven him to become the player he is today.
Westbrook feeling it out a bit. And denied. He sends it right off the glass.
You know, he just has not been himself this period. Just too inconsistent up and down at the offensive end.
And Clark, last year Harden was quoted in saying, most players don't really love basketball.
Well, I don't know about most. That seems a bit extreme. Maybe he feels that they don't love it as much as he does, which certainly you could understand. But I can say that very few players have the drive and determination to improve their game the way Harden has. That's part of why he's been an MVP.
Westbrook drives in. Count the basket. Westbrook's got 6. And a closer look here at the hustle stats for the Rockets.
Well, in the first half of play, they're closing out aggressively, blocking shots, a key indicator of their activity on the defensive side.
They also came out of the locker room with their running shoes on. I mean, their transition game has been full throttle.
All right, a chance to check out stats for Harden. Great showing for him last season. Last season, averaging 36 points a game, 7 assists and 6 rebounds. And you talk about guys who just have a nose for putting up points. He is one of them.
Yeah, he sure is, and he rarely has back-to-back bad games. If he has an off night, he usually follows that up with a big night.
That shot is off. So Houston will take it the other way. They went to Washington for their last meeting with the Wizards, and they came out with a win.
Yeah, it was a narrow win. But at that last meeting, I think foul trouble for the other side may have really just tipped the scale and allowed them to escape with the W.
You know, whether it was their smart play or a few whistles that perhaps could have gone either way, when the games are tight, every decision becomes more magnified.
Here is Bryant, coming off a solid outing against Charlotte.
The defense of Capella is huge. I mean, very impactful at that end of the floor, using his big body to deter shooters.
Double team on Westbrook from deep. And Harden gets it to go in on the assist by Westbrook. And it's 9 points for James Harden.
The ball movement on this run has been fantastic and is a big part of why they've been able to get these good looks.
Here's Thomas. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2. They get Russell Westbrook. And we all know how rough things have been for Thomas the last few seasons, Greg, battling injuries and trying to find the right situation for his talents.
And the injuries have clearly taken their toll on Thomas. A lot of things need to go right for you to be a star player at his size, and lately that just hasn't been the case.
And McLemore, he's checked in for Houston.
Love the ferocity. Heck, that's one of my favorite words, ferocity. Harden, excellent at accelerating and decelerating. That's the thing that makes him so tough. He can go fast, slow, or mid-range speed.
Here's Thomas, and Capella sends it back.
And that one gives them a +5 rebound advantage, Kevin.
Pretty clear they're dominating that area. They've come out with a lot more energy and effort so far.
Wizards trail by 9. Here's Thomas. Doesn't go that time. Good D by Harden.
Putting up a goose egg, bagel this period. At this point, you have to run the offense through somebody else. I mean, that's your only choice.
Their play on both ends has been superb. We'll see if they can maintain the momentum.
And, you know, nothing like getting an opponent on the ropes early. You love that if you're on that side of the scoreboard, and they are landing some haymakers now.
Thomas gets the bucket.
Thomas just absolutely fearless. I mean, does not back down at all. Comfortable shooting against the big trees.
Harden scanning the floor. Lob pass to Capella. Hammers the alley-oop through.
Oh, I like how Capella stays one step ahead of the posse on defense. Has a real good sense of body control.
Washington calls timeout. Well, Clark, there's nothing like opening night. Preseason in the rearview mirror. Now the games count for real. Terrific time.
Yeah, exciting for everybody because hope springs eternal for all teams in the league after you get beyond preseason. And the games do count. They start calculating and documenting W's and L's.
For the Rockets, Tyson Chandler. He's checked in for Capella. And Thabo Cephalosha subbed in for Danuel House. Houston on D. They lead by 11. Passes it to McCray. Miles against Cephalosha. Miles the pass to McCray. Just 5 to shoot. Wagner can't hit.
They've been sensational on the backboard to start this game.
Yeah, sensational is a really good word for it, Greg. They're tearing it up on the glass.
And the defense looks soft early on. They've got to sum it up a little more sense of urgency.
Yeah, they've got to do a little more to disrupt their offensive rhythm, too.
And the shot no good from McCray. Rockets leading by 13. There's McLemore, and McLemore slams it in.
Really seizing the momentum of this game, but doing it with a methodical approach.
And, you know, that involves pounding it inside, getting as many points as you can right at the rim. That demoralizes a team.
There's the pass to Bertans. They get a hand on it. Takes the three. It's rebounded by Houston.
Rare you'll see him miss such an open look.
And foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
And, you know, guys, you look at the Rockets, they've been in the midst of a great championship window. A lot of teams have been trying to avoid going for titles against the Warriors. The Rockets have been in win-now mode, very aggressive in trying to get to the top.
And, Clark, you have to admire the Rockets for not shying away from the challenge of keeping up with a great team like Golden State.
Yeah, I have great respect for the Rockets, guys, because they've come as close as any team in the West to knocking off the Warriors. You know, they took them to a Game 7 and also had a chance in last season's playoffs when KD was injured. I think you've got to admire their competitive spirit and not backing down.
Right, you're right, Clark. Harden draws the double and wrestling for it there, but no one has possession. We'll have a jump ball. And it's the Rockets with the ball. And Tucker kicks to Harden. Back to Tucker. Stolen away. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Pass to Wagner. Makes it off the glass.
That's a textbook example of how to move the ball. Boy, you got to love that action.
Now, here is Harden. Defense right on him. Left side, Chandler. Here's McLemore. Oh!
My goodness.
Displaying intensity right off the opening tip, especially on the offensive end.
Tell you what, forget about easing into the game. They came out with guns blazing.
Bertans passes to Wagner. It's good. Wagner's got his second basket.
And they've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball in the paint.
Harden outside. 1:56 left here in the opening quarter. Clock at 6. Pass to McLemore. And Houston again with the bucket.
And we're seeing some great ball movement out of this group, guys.
Bonga deciding where to go with it. Here's Wagner. Tyson Chandler pulls it in.
Well, you know, this is what happens. You can't afford to lose concentration even for a nanosecond.
Yeah, nice silky finish on the alley-oop from the stupendous feed.
That sequence couldn't have been executed any better.
Guys, I hope we get to see a few more of those.
1:14 left in the first quarter of the game. To the paint, here's McCray. It's rebounded by Houston. And here's Harden. Kicks it to Tucker. Now here's McLemore. 14 points from him the last game against the Clippers in Los Angeles. Here's McCray, guarded by Harden. Bonga, the pass to McCray. Miles against Cephalosha. The Wizards with another miss.
And you don't want to give up that kind of look too often.
Man, it's always fun watching Harden get going. I mean, he can spray you from outside or slay you from inside. And it's usually pick your poison.
Chandler comes with a double team. Bertans passes to Bonga. Here's Bertans. His last outing with 20 points. Passes it to Wagner. Here's Bonga. He's guarded by Chandler. From deep, Miles. And that would have counted, but his shot was off the mark this time. And so it's Houston taking a 19-point lead into the break. Defensively, they have gotten after it, contesting every shot going up. We'll get right back to the action when we return. And being a smaller player is a challenge, but Isaiah Thomas always confident attacking the lane.
I just go in there. I've been doing it since I was a little boy. Like, I've always...
Thomas brings that fearlessness, Greg. He's always played with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, and he's got a deep bag of tricks for finishing around bigger players. It's really something to watch.
And glad to have you with us, folks. Second quarter of basketball. This game has not exactly been neck and neck, but plenty of time left in this one. And guys, we've seen the Rockets really take control here.
Well, the offense is clicking, and they seem to have seized the momentum here early on.
Yeah, you know, I agree. No warm-up needed. They came in on fire and have already built a nice lead.
In a moment now to reset the lineups, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up for the second quarter of basketball. So the Wizards 5 right now. We've got Wagner. McCray is out there with Smith. Then there's Davis Bertans. And it's Bonga in at the small forward. Chandler, no good. And it's Smith with the ball. He brings it up for the Washington Wizards. 19-point game. They host the Kings after this game. That game will be a quick pit stop before hitting the road again. And we're starting the second quarter, about a minute gone.
And now a chance to see the former Demon Deacon Ish Smith in action. Has been in the league for a while now and played for several teams, and he's a veteran through and through.
Shot clock at 6. Here's Rivers, and Wagner pulls it down. Wagner's got 4 rebounds in this game. Cephalosha against Smith. Played in with a nice touch off the glass. Smith's got 4 points now in the quarter. And when you have Ish Smith on your team, you know he's going to give you scoring off the bench.
And Smith not exactly great at any one thing, but the whole package is solid for a reserve. As long as you can make the right decision and just run the offense, that'll get you pretty far in this league. I mean, the number of points they've scored in the paint already here is eye-opening.
Houston leading by 13. Rivers with it. He's coming off a 10-point game against the Clippers. And the pass to Cephalosha. Back to Rivers. Houston moving the ball around. And Tucker kicks to Rivers. And the shot is long. Wizards trail by 13. And there's the call on Austin Rivers. That is his first foul of the game. Russell Westbrook's checked in for P.J. Tucker. And a new group getting ready to come in for Washington. Smith the pass to Bryant. Wide open look. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. Bryant's got his second bucket of the game to go.
That's how you pass the pumpkin. I mean, Smith really keeps his head on the swivel to get that ball over to his open teammates.
Lobbed up there for Chandler. Up high to stop the alley-oop.
You know, the athletic game of Chandler helps tremendously. He's awesome at flying up to complete alley-oops.
Smith the pass to Brown. Outside, Beal fires the three. Russell Westbrook with the rebound.
And the well is running dry for him right now. Nothing falling.
And, you know, you can sense his frustration. This is going to be a test of his resolve here.
Cephalosha against Brown. Shoots over Beal. And Westbrook gets it to go on the assist from Cephalosha. Westbrook's got 8 points.
And with the lead, I like the strategy here. Continue to get the ball to guys who can do something with it.
If it's working, keep working it. That's what I say. Keep the pressure on it.
Hachimura the pass to Beal. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
Oof, this has been brutal. I mean, he still hasn't made a single shot. No wonder they're struggling. Great teamwork, punctuated by a strong finish.
That is the perfect fast break, guys. Getting a hoop before the defense can get set.
Hachimura the pass to Smith. Now here's Brown, guarded by McLemore. Beal from long range gets it to go from beyond the arc. Beal's got himself on the board with 3 there.
Really nice job moving the ball around that time, picking apart that defense. Pass to McLemore.
And now a moment to see the stats for Smith. Last season's performance for him averaged about 9 points per game, 3 assists and 2 rebounds.
And there isn't much to write home about with his numbers. I think he'd like to up his contribution.
Yeah, but you got to earn that chance. I mean, you get what you earn. His numbers are fine, but he's not going to get a lot more floor time unless he turns it up a notch.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Clint Capella comes in for Cephalosha. And Daniel House subbed in for Ben McLemore.
Yeah, that's 2 straight three-pointers they've allowed.
Now Westbrook, 10 points for him. The dish to Chandler. Tries from the block. The kick out to Westbrook. Launches it. That one falls through. It's his 6th make from the floor this game. Now 6 for 10.
And a big lead for them on both the scoreboard and the backboard thus far.
Yeah, rebounding has been a big key in this one, Greg. They've asserted their will and have taken control on the glass.
Beal can't get it to go. So for the Wizards, their last game, a win against Charlotte. Pass to Westbrook. Here is House. He's still scoreless so far in this one. The kick out to Westbrook from downtown, and another 3 for Houston.
The assist totals, Kevin, just continue to grow. They're way ahead in that category. Ball movement has been flawless.
Clearly just an example of a different mindset between these teams.
Here's Beal, and the Wizards getting another bucket right there.
And I like the fact that he really was unfazed by that scoreless first quarter, and now you can see him getting into a rhythm.
Well, it's a new front office in Washington, and Greg, they've got their work cut out for him.
John Wall's huge supermax contract as he deals with the Achilles injury. Tough questions to be answered about the direction they're going to take talent-wise.
And stolen by Thomas. And here we go. Washington fast break. Here's Hachimura. And they call the foul, so he's got the and one chance here to make it a 3-point play.
And it's all about getting to the right spot, and Hachimura did just that in transition.
James Harden, he's checked in for the Rockets. And that one misses. And for Isaiah Thomas, Clark, who has battled so many injuries the past couple years, you just hope he stays healthy.
Kevin, you're right on both counts. Clearly, you'd love to see this little fella healthy because he was dynamic and explosive and highly productive when he was. He certainly has missed a lot of time recently, and even when he has been on the court, it typically was right after an injury or a surgery. So let's hope he can be healthy because he's one of the more entertaining players in the league to watch.
Changing ends quickly, getting the advantage in numbers and finishing. They've been doing it all night long.
You know, they've been the more up-tempo team, clearly. It's helped them gain the advantage in this one.
Outside Bryant. Rebounded by Capella. Capella's got 14 rebounds for him tonight. Wow. House. The kick out to Westbrook. Harden against Brown. Now here's Harden. Defense is right there. The shot by House is no good. Wizards trail by 17. Here's Beal, and he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed. Beal's got 10 points in the game.
And he's clearly led the way offensively. The question is, can they ride him and get back into it?
And here's Westbrook. 16 points for him. A three ball. And another three for Houston.
Yeah, those are starting to add up, guys. Of their last 5 baskets, 3 have been triples.
Washington calls timeout. Clark, you played the traditional power forward position in the NBA years you had back in the 80s at such a high level. Who's doing that right now?
Tell you what, the power forward position has changed so much, Kevin. These 4 men now are not really the enforcing type physical guys that we saw in the 80s and even 90s. They're agile, they're rim protectors, they're shot makers from deep, and guys like Anthony Davis and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yes.
Man, I tell you, Anthony Davis goes to the top of my list in today's game.
Blake Griffin, another one with Detroit.
Yeah, good call.
The Rockets making a switch here. Tucker's checked in. So it's the Wizards now. They trail by 18. Passes to Beal. Over Harden. And there's Bradley Beal on the assist by Thomas. And that's 12 points for Bradley Beal.
Yeah, he's owning them on the offensive end, but, you know, he can't do it by himself.
And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. For Houston, they have shot 4 of 7 as a team from the line tonight. Several misses early. And so he hits the technical free throw.
Well, I tell you what, you just cannot help but be in awe of the offensive dominance James Harden has had over the last few years. I mean, he's done so much for this team and done it with both his scoring and playmaking.
C.J. Miles, he's checked in for Washington. Houston needs to get a shot off. They get it back. And Tucker kicks to Westbrook. The pass to House. Outside Westbrook. 5 on the clock. Hits the three-point bomb. Westbrook's got 22. And when you look at usage rates, Harden is the offense for this team.
Yeah, you look at Harden's numbers over the last few years, and it has been absolutely ridiculous what he's done. I mean, there's no player who's had a better 3-year stretch in the history of the league. 30-plus points per game seasons the last few years, the near triple-double the year before. I mean, he's a marked man for every opponent, and he's still been able to put up these kinds of numbers. Absolutely amazing.
You got to do more than that to keep the ball out of his hands down low.
Exactly. I mean, deny him the ball in the first place. Don't let him get it.
Stolen by Westbrook. Lob pass to Capella. Throws down the alley-oop slam.
Love the attitude of Westbrook. Continues to improve at running the offense and finding ways to create opportunities for his teammates.
And there's the foul. It will go on P.J. Tucker. That is his first foul of the game. Beal against Harden. Outside Beal. Shot clock at 5. And the rejection by Harden. And it's Houston on the break. House has got the ball. The shot's good from Westbrook. 24 points for him.
And now he's taken a solid opening in the quarter and built on it here in the second.
Beal, the pass to Bertans. 1:31 left in the first half. He feeds it to Miles. Trying to get something going. It's rebounded by Houston. Capella's got rebound number 17, if you can believe that. Poked away. And the wide open shot from Miles. It's hauled in by Clint Capella. Here's Harden, and Harden with the stuff.
Well-rounded effort, and they show no signs of letting up.
Almost no holes in their performance tonight. They've been tremendous.
Here's Wagner. Busts the J after the cagey pass fake. Wagner's got 6 points.
It all started with the pass. That's what coaches love to see, ball movement.
Westbrook up top. He's got 24. That's going to be out of bounds. The Rockets will retain possession.
And he made the right read on that play, but just couldn't secure the steal.
You know, fellas, 1 second quicker, and that's going the other way.
And the Rockets making a change here. Cephalosha's checked in. And then for Washington, McRae has come in for Beal. And it's Ish Smith in for C.J. Miles. Smith, the pass to Wagner. It's good, the assist that time from Smith. He's got 9.
You know, he's had better starts, obviously, but he's shaking it off here in the second.
Now here's Westbrook to the middle. Got a piece of it. Here's Bonga, covered by Cephalosha. And it's Smith missing. Here's Harden. Lays it up and banks it in. Harden's got 7 now in this quarter.
Tremendous speed on the drive. Harden is consistent in attacking the basket.
With 1 on the clock, and that one is off. Russell Westbrook has been leading the charge for Houston. Going on an absolute rampage, piling in the points. He dictated the pace of the entire quarter. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Thanks, Kevin. Russell, how confident are you that there's nobody that can stay in front of you?
Very confident. I have a lot of confidence in myself. I put a lot of work in the summertime, but I'm very confident.
That is never a problem for you, Russ. Thanks very much. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the second half momentarily.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny, and a favorite time of the year as we're halfway through one of the first games of this fresh NBA season. There was no stopping Russell Westbrook in the first half. He ended up with 24 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Some great work from him in the first 2 quarters. Kenny, what'd you think about the Rockets?
So Westbrook, talk about a guy who does everything for his team. He's the catalyst on offense, a ferocious finisher. Then defensively, he has all the tools to disrupt anything you do on the offensive end.
Shaq, what was your takeaway on Washington?
Well, there's no wonder they're getting blown out. No energy, no fight in the rebound battle. Ernie, you got to pick it up. You got to pick it up starting now, or it's going to be impossible to come back. Like the Pythagorean theorem, times 50, times 100, times 50, times 10. Impossible to figure out, Ernie.
That about wraps it up. Time now for the second half of the game. We go to Kevin Harlan for the call.
Well, we've got a second half of basketball for you. We think it's going to be pretty good. A big comeback, though, is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. Well, you look at Russell Westbrook in this game, he has been everywhere.
And if he can keep shooting from deep like he did in the first half, he's going to be more than a handful.
Yeah, you know what? The defense is going to adjust. They'll be ready for him now, so I'm sure they talked a lot about how to slow him down.
Tucker and Capella are up front. Westbrook and Harden, the dynamite pair. They're the backcourt. And it's House in at the 3 slot. That's the 5 for Houston right now. Harden against Beal. Harden kicks it to Tucker from past the arc. And again, it's the Rockets from deep.
Tell you what, for a guy who's inconsistent from 3, Tucker's showing you he can be scary out there at times for a defense.
Beal, the pass to Hachimura. Thomas with the ball. Six on the shot clock. Second half of basketball, just over a minute played so far. No good, shot missing.
And for so many things that the Rockets do right, one area they can lapse in is rebounding.
Yeah, and a big part of that, I think, is they play a lot of small ball, and the defense is decent, but the rebounding suffers when they go small. They were bottom 3 in the league last year in rebound. At the offensive end, he's been assertive and efficient, guys. A big reason why they hold this lead right now.
Just over a minute and a half played here in the third. Drains the three-pointer. 17 points for Beal.
I think Thomas understands that better ball distribution is going to take him to the next level.
To the inside. Harden the pass to Tucker. Back to Harden. Houston moving the ball around. Bounce pass from Westbrook. Tucker finds Westbrook. 17-foot shot on the way. And Capella the bucket on the assist by Westbrook.
So far, so good to begin this half. They're 3 for 3. Perfect.
Thomas surveying the D. Beal gets a wide open look. A three-pointer off the mark. Houston's gone 6 of 11 when they've taken the three-point shot tonight. Very respectable. Tucker dishes to Capella. And the dunk by Capella. That gives him a double-double in this one. 10 points and 19 rebounds.
Capella's so good at finishing around the rim, showing you right there. Great explosiveness inside.
And it's blocked. Beal against Harden, and plenty of contact on the shot. So, 2 free throws coming up. And there's the call on Washington with the foul.
One of the hardest and trickiest covers in the league. Harden, not just a superb scorer, but also an amazing passer, which really makes him really hard to guard.
Thomas passes to Bryant. Too long in the paint, and he's hit with a 3-second violation. A lot of players keep track of their stats, their own team stats. But Clark, how much do guys pay attention to stats in game?
I have no idea. I mean, I know stat sheets are given to the coaches during the timeouts throughout the game, but I don't think players in general are able to monitor their numbers. Now, there are exceptions to every rule. I imagine every team may have a player or two that can chart his numbers during the game, but the vast majority are too occupied with playing the game to keep up with the stats.
And they're looking up at the scoreboard, too, aren't they? Because they give individual stats up on the board.
Oh, man. I tell you that, and then watching replays is one of my pet peeves with players. I mean, they should just focus on playing the game instead of always looking up to see if they fouled or not.
Here's Beal. No good again that time. For Houston, they've gotten every shot that dropped since halftime. They're 5 for 5 from the floor. And Tucker has it in the corner. Pass to McLemore. And out of bounds as the Wizards gain possession.
And taking a look here at the numbers for Clint Capella, he's coming off an excellent season. 2nd in field goal percentage, 5th in rebounding, and a top 15 ranking in blocks per game, supplying that backline protection that is so key to a great defense.
And you pointed out his ranking as the 2nd best shooter in the league last season. I think with a little extra work, he could become number 1 this time around. Bryant gets a wide open look, and another miss by Washington. And it's Houston's ball. They're on a 13-3 run. Shots good by McLemore. McLemore's got 8 points.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
And it's Thomas with the ball. He brings it up for Washington. Beal with it. 17 points in the game. Back to Thomas. for three. And the rebound goes to the Rockets.
No matter what looks they get, they just can't convert to stop this run.
And, you know, they've got to be careful because this is when the team concept breaks down and guys start playing hero ball.
And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, tampering is a touchy subject, but it's a word we're hearing more often. Teams want to retain their star players, but they know that there's always talk during a season. Now, teams can only express interest in a player when he hits free agency. But players can talk amongst each other freely all season. Star players like LeBron James are tied into their front offices. Some people wonder if there's much of a difference between what the player says and what his team is thinking. Kevin?
Good point, David. Thank you.
You know, the thing about Thomas you like and admire, he's an excellent leader. His winning mentality is contagious, and he typically lays it on the line every time he's on the court.
Yeah, quick trigger. And from that range, if he senses the defenders have backed off, forget about it.
Now Rivers. He's been quiet so far. Still no points in the game. Inside and taken away by Brown. And here we go. Thomas heading to the hoop. The shot's good. Brown making the play. 9 points for Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, you got to stay with Thomas in transition. When he's got to step on the defense, he's lethal.
Here is House. He's covered by Brown. And the dunk by Capella.
And the pass there floated it up to the precise spot it needed to be.
And no messing around on the finish. He powers it through.
And that's an alley-oop that'll be loop-to-loop all day long on the highlight reel.
And Bryant kicks to Brown. Outside, Beal. Down to 5 on the shot clock. From the stripe. And Washington again with the bucket.
Seems like he can't miss right now, guys. I mean, completely in the zone this quarter.
Here is House. Lob pass to Capella. An emphatic alley-oop jam.
You know, we're used to seeing this kind of efficiency from Capella, but he's scoring with volume, too. That's impressive.
Thomas against Rivers. And the basket by Thomas. Thomas got 11 points.
And he's shaking off that slow start, giving them a boost here in the second.
Here is House. No points in the game yet for him. And the dunk by Capella.
Nice recognition that time from Capella, aggressively rolling to the bucket after setting the screen.
Rivers against Thomas. Outside Bryant. It's Beal on the wing. And it's off from three-point range. And with Clint Capella, it's easy to see what an important piece of this team he is.
Yeah, it really is, guys, because when he's off the floor, there's a clear difference in how his team plays. I mean, he fits in so well and gives the Rockets exactly what they need, finishing at the rim out of pick and rolls, and then a terrific rim protector as well.
And guarding him on the perimeter isn't a priority for them right now, but if this continues, it will be.
And Thomas, here we go. Mark, I want to take you back a bit here to 1982. What was going through your mind over your first few NBA games?
Well, Kevin, first of all, I was really excited and thankful to have a chance to realize a dream, but I was also a little bit nervous going up against some of the guys that I had watched and idolized from afar. But once you're between those lines, it's not about idolizing guys. It's about trying to posterize them.
Any player in particular, one player that you looked out on the floor and you were out there as well saying, oh my goodness, look who I'm playing against tonight?
Well, when we first saw the Celtics and the Sixers, Larry Bird and those great teams in the 80s, Cedric Maxwell and Kevin McHale, and then the Sixers, my rookie year, won it all. And they had Moses Malone, Dr. J, Bobby Jones, some of the greats in the game. So those two teams, and Dr. J and Larry Bird in particular.
Cephalosha passes to Capella. Whoops, anticipated the pass. Turnover. Here's Thomas. That shot, no good. So Houston will take it the other way.
Just not much success when it comes to shooting.
Left side, Chandler. He kicks to Rivers. Again, the Rockets score.
Hey, whatever adjustments they made at halftime, they are working to perfection.
You know, they came out of the locker room, revved up the gas pedal, and haven't slowed down yet.
Here's Bonga by Cephalosha, and the call on the shot that sends him to the line. Here's a look at what's coming up for Washington. On Sunday, they'll tip off a homestand starting with the Sacramento Kings. Then on Tuesday, they'll be matching up with Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets.
And Kevin, I think you have to look at this as an opportunity to take a step forward. Sometimes tough road trips can bring the best out of a team and bring you closer together.
James Harden, he's checked in for Clint Capella. Back to Harden. Shot clock reset for the Rockets. Houston moving it around. McLemore, the pass to Chandler. Back to McLemore. Off target with his three. Washington has gotten 1 of 6 three-pointers to drop since coming out of the locker room at halftime. Down low, Wagner. No good. Chandler with the defensive effort. And so it's Harden bringing it up for Houston. Following this one, they get to host the Mavericks. That'll be the second of 4 games at home for them. Washington shooting at 36% on the night. They've got to step it up offensively. Smith, the pass to Wagner. No good with the triple. Houston's gone 3 of 5 with the long ball since entering the second half. And the dunk by Chandler.
Attacking in transition, the most consistent way to generate easy looks.
Yep, exactly. And if there's any opportunity for early offense, you've got to push it and push it every time.
Smith with it, picked up by Rivers. 2 points, that one goes. 8 points for Smith.
Well, I tell you, this floater that Smith has is one of his most lethal shots. I mean, it makes defenses feel really helpless because they don't know if he's going to pass or sting them with the floater.
Lobbed up there for Chandler. Takes the alley-oop pass and dunks it down.
And he pulls off the Houdini to make that catch and slam it through.
Stupendous alley-oop.
And the crowd got their jaws dropped on that one. Total disbelief.
Smith, the pass to Bertens. Back to Smith. Just 5 on the clock. Washington gets it back. In the corner, Miles with it. Smith outside. A second chance effort. It's rebounded by Houston. Chandler's got double-digit rebounds now in the game. 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Harden against Miles. And here's McLemore. 11 points in the game. Left side, Chandler. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time.
Substitution on the board.
And so it's the Houston Rockets holding an unbelievable lead as the quarter wraps up. Their defense has been active and effective. We come back right after this. And a moment ago, inside the huddle with Coach Scott Brooks.
The issue is not them. The issue is us. We're not being physical. Effort, hustle, determination is going to win this game. Not scoring.
Well, Greg, he's commanding his guys to be more energetic right now.
And the physicality must improve. Coach Brooks wants more toughness on the board.
And as we head into the fourth, we'll see if there's a comeback in the works or if it's more of the same from the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter on the court for the Wizards. C.J. Miles is out there with Davis Bertans. Then it's Smith. Then there's McCray. And it's Wagner in at the 5, roaming the paint. Smith the pass to Bertens. Here's Wagner. Pass to Smith. 6 to shoot. And right on through for another basket. He's got 5 made on 5 of 9 shooting.
Nice to watch Smith get physical on offense. Nothing gets in this guy's way. Plays with a very determined attitude.
Passes it to Frazier. Clemens covered by Smith. The feed to Chandler. Frazier outside. This one for 3. And Wagner pulls it down. So it's the Wizards now. Here's Miles. And he wills that one in, sinking right through off the back iron.
And they've worked the ball around so well tonight for those quality looks from mid-range.
Well, it's interesting. The defense continues to back off, expecting them to attack the rack, but they just continue to pull up and knock down those mid-range jumpers. You know, one of the basic fundamentals in basketball is the ability to box out. He's got that down pat.
Knocks down the 3 ball. McRae has got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
Boy, the way Smith runs the offense, really efficient, thanks to the way he can pass it.
And we're around 2 minutes into the 4th quarter here. And the dunk by Chandler. And that's a double-double for him now. 10 points and 10 rebounds.
Oh, I love that dish down low.
The pass to Wagner. No one near him. Tyson Chandler pulls it in. Chandler's got the glass covered here tonight. 11 boards for him. Pass to Clark. Clemens covered by Smith. Frazier the pass to Chandler. Over Wagner. They get it again. Cephalosha. And foul on the shot. He'll shoot 2 at the free throw line.
No, I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
Yeah, if you're going to foul, then make sure that you don't give a chance for the and one.
Hartenstein, he's checked in for Tyson Chandler. The last couple of years, Clark, we've seen a couple of Hall of Fame level players go on these farewell tours in their final year in the NBA. What a great way for fans of opposing teams to honor these terrific stars.
You know, I was a little bit mixed on how I felt about the farewell tours, but these two were handled so beautifully, and there have been others that have been handled great. It gives the fans an opportunity to express their feelings for some of the greats in the game, and that's heartwarming for all of us, I think.
Yeah, you and I were just talking about the way Kobe and Wade were terrific in their tours. And out of bounds as the Wizards gain possession. Here's Smith. Pass to Schofield. And we're about 3.5 minutes into the 4th quarter. Wagner can't hit. For Houston, they've gone just 33% from the field in the 4th quarter so far. They are 2 of 6. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Ish Smith. That's his first foul.
Yeah, clearly a foul of frustration right there.
Not his best moment. Obviously, no one on their team's happy right now, but you shouldn't be taking that frustration out on your opponent with a poor foul.
The shot by Schofield, no good. And here's Cephalosha. He brings it up for Houston. Pass to Hartenstein. Last season, the NBA announcing the launch of a league in Africa, along with FIBA. Clark, what do you think of that move?
I think it's another example, Kevin, of the globalization of the game and the NBA's intentional, purposeful way of expanding and continuing to grow the game for the sake of the business of basketball, which is a game that obviously you and I love.
And Clark, we see so many foreign players come into the NBA and play well. Not just play, but play well.
Yeah, and not just Africa, although
right.
a number of players from Africa, but a number of different countries have signed on. It could make for a more exciting league.
Here's Schofield, and oh boy, a lot of contact there, but he gets the call and will shoot 2.
Yeah, I like that they haven't lost their aggressiveness here in the second, despite being down.
That's exactly when you need to be aggressive, Greg. You know that. I mean, Another good job, though, of drawing contact and getting to the free throw line.
Hachimura, he's checked in for Davis Bertans. That free throw, no good. Any changes you'd like to see made in the process when players and teams are fined for any number of things, incidents on the floor or off the floor?
Well, I think there's a place for fines and the different amounts depending on how egregious the act is by a player or team makes some sense. I think having different categories, but I'm one that would rather hit hard and less often. So I think if you want to minimize the number of finable offenses, then make the penalty be greater for those things that are finable.
Here's Clemens, and he drops in the layup off the glass. The Wizards have gone 4 of 10 here in the final period. Not the time to go cold. Now the pass to Hachimura. Clark, a lot of fans ask us what qualifies as a legal screen versus a moving screen. They feel there's a lot of gray area there. What do you think?
Well, I think there is some gray area because the problem you have, one of the problems is a number of veterans out there have become really masters at getting a little extra into their screen, which borders on illegal and many times is. So the league is doing a pretty good job of clarifying. And if you're moving your lower or upper body to help a teammate with your screen, then that should be called. And most times it is called as illegal. A hip check, a shoulder, any of that to set a screen is illegal.
Clemens, covered by Smith. Hartenstein passes to Clemens. Second chance shot. 2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul.
And good job bringing that free throw percentage up here in the second half, doing a great job at the line.
Hey, guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for Houston?
They keep piling up the assists, and they haven't cooled off at all.
They've been firing on all cylinders in the transition game, too. I mean, they've really run the break well.
Daniel House has checked in for the Rockets. Good work there as it goes.
Well, you certainly can't fault him as the reason they're behind. He's been on target and on top of his game.
Clemens, covered by Smith. Kicks it to Clark. Goes up the baseline. Here's Hartenstein. Hits the layup after the sweet pump fake to freeze the D.
Yeah, coach's pet peeve there. No box out.
Those are free points you're giving away. You got to work harder on the glass.
Lets a floater go. Schofield gets the bucket.
Oh, perfect timing there to knock down the teardrop.
Tipped away. Clark, at the college level, a coach was recently offered a lifetime contract. Think we'll ever see that in the NBA?
Well, you can't quite say never.
Right.
I said in college basketball, I never thought in my lifetime I'd see a 16 beat a 1 seed.
Right.
So never say never, but it's not going to happen.
Well, but you've got a lifetime contract doing this, so I guess it does happen in some quadrants.
Well, you got information that I don't have.
Here's Hachimura. Free throw line jump shot, and he hits the jump shot.
And a solid shooter from mid-range. Hachimura with textbook fundamentals.
Here's Clemens, and the layup is good. Now, here is Smith. Pass to Wagner. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. Wagner's got 4 points now in the quarter. Here's Hartenstein. House, and he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up.
Yeah, and their free throw shooting has really improved here in the second half.
Free throw drops for House, and Washington making a change here. Robinson's checked in, and so House nails both of them. And it's Smith with the ball. He brings it up for the Washington Wizards. It's stolen by Frazier. 2-on-1 as they jump out on the break. Here's House. The big dunk at the end of the break.
Well, if you don't take care of the ball, fellas, that's what can happen.
Absolutely, Greg. That makes the turnover even more painful.
What, you mean the throwdown at the end? I'll tell you what, fellas, I mean, the highlight shows are going to pain them even more. It's important that you have big men who can shoot in this day and age, and this guy can really stretch the floor.
Here's Frazier. Great pass to set up the lay-in.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
Now, here is Smith. Tight defense on him. Here's Wagner. And Washington again with the bucket.
Well, you like guys who can work that in-between area, really keeps the defense honest.
And I tell you what, guys, I mean, with this combination of size and touch, he's a real threat from mid-range.
Clark, last season we saw more of the global games series from the NBA. A couple games in Mexico, one in England. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it really is, because I actually 6 years ago had a chance to be with the Pacers in the global games in the Philippines, and then Taipei, Taiwan with the Rockets. Great experience for the players and the organizations. It's an additional level of travel, no doubt, about a week to 10 days where you're in another country, but it's great for the game, and it's great for the fans in those countries.
Buries it from three-point range.
He's just stretching them out. The defense has got to do a better job of staying attached to him.
Yeah, especially with the score being what it is. I mean, you got to tighten it up on D.
Houston's gone 2 of 5 on three-point shots since the end of the third quarter. A nice shot by Frazier.
When you allow good scorers to get uncontested shots at the rim, no wonder you're losing.
You know, he should be getting extra attention from the defense, not less.
Pass to Bertens. And that one barely misses as he draws contact. 2 free throws coming up.
Well, you know, for so long, Mike D'Antoni has been a vanguard on NBA offense. His teams have always played great offense, moving, spacing, dynamic players. Defense has not been at the level of offense, but I think he's actually improved as a coach in that area as well.
And Washington making a change here. Miles is checked in.
And so it's going to end up in the record books as a blowout, a dominating performance for the Rockets.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And it'll go down as their first official win of the new year.
And with the victory tonight, they'll take the second game just as they took the first one between these two teams, moving their record to 2-0 with one left against the Wizards.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for Clint Capella.
He did all the dirty work that they needed, clearing out space underneath and securing rebounds.
Here's Wagner. No good from outside. They've been doing a great job of sharing the ball.
And guys, shot A comes to mind for me because right now that offense, it's a smooth operation.
That's his personal foul. At the line for your Rockets.
First free throw is good.
At the line for 2.
And Frazier drops them both. Here is Miles. Robinson with it. Passes it to Bertens. High arcing shot, and it's good on the layup.
Clearly, he's one of the best there is in the business when it comes to making that lead pass.
It's deflected. And he makes the first. Good on both. Here's Clemens. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
Saw the opportunity to put this away and did not turn it down.
And, you know, this run shows what kind of attitude this team has. I mean, the win is there. Go get it.
So we see the Rockets taking the win here. This game may not have been the most exciting we've ever seen, but you have to appreciate just what a clinical performance they put on.
I know their fans appreciated it, and we saw at times just stretches of excellent defense, potency from an offensive standpoint as well. They were pretty much dominant.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thanks very much. James, congrats on the win. Great crowd tonight, but what made the difference down the stretch?
We just trying to play solid defense. Talk to each other, help each other out. That was amazing tonight. You know, it was unbelievable. Like I said, I'm happy for our guys. And, you know, we got a good victory at home.
Big win, James. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. And that'll do it